We are going to work on Chapter 6, Section 2, and this has to do with solving two equations using substitution. So, if you have two equations, y equals 3x and 2x plus y equals 45, then you are going to substitute for this y, which is the exact same thing as this y. You're going to put a 3x in there instead of the y, so that you have one equation with one letter, and then you can solve. So 2x plus, and then instead of y, we're going to substitute that 3x right here, because that's what y is equal to, equals 45. So these are like terms. They're on the same side of the equation. You put them together. 5x equals 45. And then to solve for x, you would divide by 5. So x equals 9. Now, our solution is an ordered pair because we're looking for where these two lines cross each other. You could either plug 9 into this x, or you could plug 9 into this x, and you'll get the same solution if you did it correctly. So y equals 3 times 9, so that is 27. So our ordered pair is 9, comma, 27, if you can read that. That is saying 9, comma, 27. If you plug it into the other equation, just to correct and make sure, you have 2 times 9 plus y equals 45. So 2 times 9 is 18. And then you would subtract 18 from both sides. And you would need to borrow from the 4, which makes this a 3. So 27 is also what you get. 8 minus 15 is 7, and 1 minus 3 is 2. If you can read any of that. All right, so we have our ordered pair solution for that. Let's say you have an equation like x plus 4y equals 1 and 2x minus 3y equals negative 9. Now, in order to substitute, you need to have an equation solve for a letter. So if you look at this equation right here, you can see that this x is already alone, and we can get the x completely alone by subtracting 4y from both sides. So x is equal to negative 4y plus 1. So really, we don't even need to look at this equation anymore because our new blue equation is the exact same thing. Okay, so for substitution, this is our x. This is an x right here. Since this is equal to x instead of x, that is what's going to be put in. So 2, and then instead of x, we are putting in the negative 4y plus 1. And then you're going to continue writing the rest of this equation. Minus 3y equals negative 9. So to solve this, you would distribute negative 8y plus 2 minus 3y equals negative 9. On the same side of the equal sign, there is a negative 3y and a negative 8y. So that is a negative 11y. And then to isolate the y, you would subtract 2. So now negative 11y is equal to negative 11, And then to get the y alone, you would divide by negative 11. So y is equal to positive 1. Now you're going to plug it back into one of the two originals. I will rewrite the equations. X plus 4y equals 1, and 2x minus 3y equals negative 9. So again, y is 1, so you're going to put a 1 right there in for y. X plus 4 times 1 equals 1. So x plus 4 equals 1. When you subtract 4 from both sides, you get x equals negative 3. If you plug it in for this y, you should get the exact same answer. Good way to check that you've done it right is to do that. 2x minus 3 times 1 equals negative 9. So 2x minus 3 equals negative 9. So 2x, you're going to add 3 to both sides, equals negative 6, and therefore 2x, you would then divide by 2. So x equals negative 3. So the equation is 3/2 x plus 2y equals 11, and 3x plus 4y equals 16. So in order to plug this in, we need to isolate for one of the letters. There's not a letter that's already alone, so we're trying to think what would be the easiest letter to solve for. This equation doesn't have any fractions, so it's probably going to be easier to solve for. And if we solve for y, when you divide 16 by 4, you get a whole number. So let's do that. So in order to solve this for y, we're going to subtract 3x. So 4y equals negative 3x plus 16. And then you're going to divide everything by 4. So y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. All right, so this y is the exact same as this y. Therefore, negative 3x plus 4 is going to go in for that y. So we're going to rewrite this equation. 3/2 x plus 2. But instead of y, you now have negative 3/4 x plus 4. And then equals 11. So in order to solve this for x, you have one equation with one letter. You're going to distribute. So 3/2 x plus 2 times negative 3/4 is going to be negative 3/2 x, because 2 times negative 3/4, you can cross reduce the 2 and the 4 and make it a 2. And then the 2 times the 4 over here is going to be 8. Now the positive 3/2 and the negative 3/2 cancels. So you have 8 equals 11. Well, that is never the case, so this is no solution. The only time you have no solution is when you have two lines that are parallel, because they're never going to cross. So if these two lines are parallel, that means their slope is the exact same. So if you go back and look at this initial problem, if you wanted to solve for y with this, you would have subtracted the 3/2 x So I'm going to squeeze it right here. 2y equals 3/2 x plus 11. And then you would have divided by 2 to get y equals 3/4 x plus 5.5, or 5.5. And so you can see there's a 3/4 slope there, negative, because we subtracted it. And there's a negative 3/4 slope right here. So that is why they're parallel, no solutions. Okay, try this one. 5/2 x plus y equals 4, and 5x plus 2y equals 8. Go ahead and hit pause. So this y is the one that seems like it wants to be alone because it doesn't have a coefficient. It doesn't have a number in front of it. So if you subtract the 5/2 x to the other side, you get y equals negative 5/2 x plus 4. So this y is the same as this y, therefore all of this can go in for y. Oops. So 5x plus 2. And then instead of y, you now have negative 5/2 x plus 4 equals 8. So you're going to distribute this too. So 5x plus negative 5x, because the 2's cancel, plus 8 equals 8. All right, when you go to simplify, both of the 5x's cancel and you get 8 equals 8. This time you have all solutions. So what that means is the lines are the exact same line, right on top of each other. Every solution for one is a solution to the other. All right, let me give you a story problem. Try a story problem. So there's a bakery, and the mint cookies are $6.50 per dozen, and the chocolate chip cookies are $9 per dozen. So yesterday the bakery sold $2,000 worth of cookies. That's the total sales. And the chocolate chip sold 50 more dozen than the mint. So the chocolate chip equals the mint plus 50. Alright, so this is actually one of our equations. The two equations always deal with, not always, but in these situations deal with money and the total. So if it said that the total for the chocolate chip and the mint was 50 dozen, you would have put the chocolate chip plus the mint is 50. For the price equation, we need the $6.50 for the mint plus the $9 for the chocolate chip equals the $2,000. So we have two equations right here that we're looking at, and the chocolate chip is already solved for, so we can plug the m plus 50 in for that c. So $6.50 per mint plus $9, and then instead of c, you have the m plus the 50 equaling 2,000. So in order to solve this, you need to distribute $6.50 for the mint plus $9 for the mint plus $450 equals 2,000. So the mints are on the same exact side. 6.5 plus 9 is 15.5. You just add them because they're on the same side. And then go ahead and take the 450 away so that the mint is alone on the left. So this would be 1550. And then if you divide by 15.5, you get that 100 mint cookies were sold. 100 dozen. Alright, back in the initial little story, it says that chocolate chip is the mint plus 50, so that's definitely the easier equation to plug that into, so the chocolate chip is 150. So the ordered pair, it doesn't really matter which number is first, if it's 100, 150, or the opposite way. that is your two solutions. 100 for the mint, 150 for the chocolate chip. Alright, let's do another story problem. We're going to say you're going to rent a bike, and you got to figure out which place to rent it from. So one of them is a $300 flat fee, plus $20 per bike. And this is for a week rental. And the other one is $60 flat fee, plus $35 per bike. Alright, so we're going to write the two equations. So the first equation would be y equals 20 bike plus 300. And the second equation would be y equals $35 per bike plus 60. So we can substitute. This y and this y are the same, so you can substitute the entire equation and set them equal to each other. So 35b plus 60 is equal to 20b plus 300. So in order to solve this, you want all of the letters on one side, so take away the 20b. So 15b plus 60 is equal to 300. And then you want to put all of the numbers together, so subtract the 60. 15b equals to 40, and then you want to get the b alone, so divide by 15. So b equals 15 goes into 24 once. Left over with 90, and 15 goes into 96 times. So 16 bikes is where they break even, and if you plug 16 in for either of the two initial equations, it will tell you the price. So 16 times 20 plus 300. So that's 320 plus 300, which is 620. If you plug these 16 in for that b, you will also get 620. So the ordered pair situation here is, oh my, $16 bikes, $320. So if you were going to rent 16 bikes for a week, it wouldn't matter which company you picked because it would be the same amount of money. Alright, hopefully that is making some lovely sense. I will see you tomorrow.